high functioning anxiety is very addictive. I was addicted and I didn't even know it. I only heard the term high functioning anxiety person a few years ago. And it suddenly dawned on me as to what I'd been going through when I was younger. It absolutely made sense as to what I'd been experiencing. You see, with high functioning anxiety, you can feel like you're flourishing, like you're thriving, like you're successful in living because of how busy you are. You know, how much material wealth that you're experiencing. I was addicted to being overly social. I was addicted to being, busy at work. I was addicted to, and this is crazy, I was addicted to my problem-solving ability, which sounds good, doesn't it? I prided myself on that. But the reality was I was spending an extraordinary amount of time and energy problem-solving negative fantasy futures that didn't even exist and were not likely to. That is high-functioning anxiety. Oh, I was also very good at being in a room and being hyper-vigilant to the point where I was reading people, or I felt like I was reading people very quickly, so I could get a measure of who they were and how to behave with them. That felt like a gift, of course. Inflating this sense of ego with high-functioning anxiety because of how successful you feel you are with life and people around you. But it is problematic. It's fake and it's unsustainable. And that was painful to realize as to what was driving me to create this life, to be high-functioning with anxiety. I was being driven by pain. Not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, not feeling significant. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be loved. And the unconscious drive to seek that type of validation outside of myself led me to creating that what appeared to be quite a successful life and a busy life. But in a sense, it was a failure. I wasn't happy. That was being masked by the over busyness. I never really took the time to process my thoughts and feelings on the matter. I did my best to avoid them in favor of being busy, which again distracted me brilliantly from knowing the truth about myself. And again, it's something that else that was adding to this was I was not helping myself with my diet, my sleep. I was highly caffeinated. I was drinking alcohol. And it was really compounding my poor nervous system, again, into being more anxious, more stressed, and creating more busyness in the hope that I would somehow find this magical bullet, this magical experience, person, situation, where suddenly it'd be like, I'm free, I can relax, I can just finally be myself, whatever that meant. And that was what I was chasing. I was chasing something that was never going to happen. And it's just something that I help entrepreneurs with. I help a lot of people with who discover that they have these huge, heavy mental loads, which lead them into overthinking, which leads them into being overly busy and panicking with life. The brain fog's beginning to set in. They're struggling to make decisions. They've made poor decisions, and they're just not enjoying life anymore. And something that I hear quite a lot from entrepreneurs is, I can't even be present with my family. And it's, what is life all about then if we can't be present with the ones we love? And it's very hard to change that. You think logic would change it, wouldn't you? Just go, well, just be present then. Just be present with the people that matter to you and end this high functioning nonsense. But it's not as simple as that, because of course your conscious mind says that, I know what I need to do. And then you've got these subconscious programs, little egos, little versions of you going, that's all very well, but I feel I still need to protect you. And to protect you, we have to avoid shame, we have to feel guilt, we have to avoid guilt, we have to avoid anything that's going to hurt you. And that can mean we have to drive you forwards. We have to drive you forwards. And being present with your family, as positive and as lovely as it sounds, isn't as important as the drive. You're not going to get the validation you need. You're not going to feel as important as you need. You're not going to get the material wealth you need with rest, with meditation, with stillness, with peace. You've got to keep being on the go. And it is such a trap. It is such a trap. And what doesn't help with this, by the way, and this isn't an attack, this isn't a diss on any type of therapy or coaching or self-help book that you've read, because we have to work with things consciously, first of all, and those things can be very successful with some people to create change on a surface level. But we have to go deeper. We have to begin to work with the subconscious mind. We have to then, if you can, move down to the superconscious mind or the awakened mind, your true self. Because that's where true change will really begin to happen. That's where those programs that you have got, that you can spend years trying to modify and trying to change the subconscious mind or the ego, it's very difficult, to be fair. I liken it to like a cat. The ego has been conditioned to be a certain way, evolved to be in a certain way. And I believe it's our rite of passage to begin to move through it. Not as the enemy, it's not the enemy, but to work with it in a way we can be free. But the reason I say it's like a cat is because try telling a cat what to do. And good luck with that. I mean, it would do it to some degree, maybe, but it's still going to catch the mouse if you told it not to, and it's still going to knock that thing off the table quite brilliantly because it wants to. And in a way, that's what our egos do. So a lot of coaching, therapy, and self-help books spend, again, a lot of time trying to modify the ego. And with high-functioning anxiety, people who enter into therapy and into coaching, etc., spend most of their time trying to modify the ego with some success, but often limiting success because they haven't gone down to an awakened mind. They haven't gone down to the superconscious, which can begin to change things from the core of who you are, the ultimate of who you are, rather than constantly trying to find a way for the ego to change so you can live a better life. Does that make sense? Think about how much time you're spending with good intentions to say, change your diet. Okay, I'm going to need to change my diet. That's really good. So you're investing in your body. I talked about it in my last video, investing in mind, body, heart, and purpose. So you're changing your diet and you want to eat healthier, good. But if you've got a subconscious program that says, eating makes me feel good, and that's better than pain, then there becomes this conflict, doesn't there? You might recognize that. And again, you can try to reason with the ego. We need to eat this beautiful salad. It's absolutely lovely. I really like salads as well. I don't know why I don't eat them more often. But if that program inside says, yes, but that salad isn't going to soothe the pain, then there's the conflict. And why I believe then you have to go down to what we would call the awakened mind or your superconscious is that part of you, that stillness, that peace, the truth of who you are can begin to help you undo that program with love and compassion and kindness, almost like a knot just beginning to unravel. And that is powerful. That is super powerful. And I will be honest with you, I would say I've only been doing this more recently because of having an awakened mind, having access to my superconscious as a way of living, because it's more natural for me. And if you want to know more about that, there's a brilliant book by Dr. Hossein Korosmer called Breakthrough, which talks about your default mode network, which houses the ego, and your central executive network, which is another series of parts of the brain which help you access flow states, become present, access your intuition, your creativity, your wisdom. That is a more awakened mind. And the more we strengthen, like a bicep, your central executive network, the quieter the ego becomes, and it can rest. I mean, it's been trying to protect you from all this time, so it could do with the break, right? But often we're constantly trying to change it from the ego, funnily enough, constantly trying to change it, constantly trying to modify it, constantly trying to be better, and then feeling guilty and ashamed because we failed yet again. This is why it's really important to get to, I think the Siegel agrees with me, I think it's really important to move beyond the subconscious mind to your awakened awareness. And having that has changed my reality, has changed my world. As the sirens going past, you know, that would have been my life as a high-functioning anxiety person. It felt my life was one big sort of emergency vehicle. Flying through the town, always so busy, always looking for the next thing to distract myself with. So we can rest those parts. We can rest the parts of us which are struggling. And we can begin to think about the drivers. Not being good enough, not being likable, lovable, I have to be perfect. There are quite a few of them. And we can, from the superconscious, begin to change them. Let them go. Let them rest. We don't need them anymore. They were protective at one point. They were created to protect you at one point. But it's your rite of passage to become free of that. It really, really is. And another aspect to high-functioning anxiety, which can keep you on the self-help book treadmill, coaching and therapy for years, is the idea that you're broken, that you need fixing, that you need to become a different person to be free of high-functioning anxiety, to be free of anxiety of any nature, to get what you want in life, no matter what it is. And I can promise you that there is nothing wrong with you. In fact, I had a conversation with someone on my community today telling me that they have a problem with recognizing that they're perfect right now. And I said, prove to me that you're not perfect right now. But you can't use any cultural beliefs, any personal beliefs. You can't use any comparisons to tell me or prove to me that's how you're not perfect. And they couldn't. And what was really lovely to see was this conversation, coming through on the WhatsApp of me pointing out to them that the idea that you're broken is what will keep you in a trap, constantly trying to fix yourself. And what you can do is just begin to end that program. It's no longer needed. It's a rite of passage to simply be free of it. Because point to in your head where you see point to me in your head. Let me say it again. Point to in your head where those stories are. Point to in your head the proof that you're not good enough. And they couldn't, because they realized it's all illusionary, but they were living life as if it were true. That's how powerful the ego is in the subconscious mind, of hypnotizing you to try to protect yourself this way. And coming to an awakened mind, a superconscious mind, is for all of us. It's not for mystics, or it's not anything weird. There's simple psychology around it, and biology. But again, the more awakened you become, the more you can just move on from these programs, and you can do something extraordinary. You can create your life from a place of pure joy and inspiration, pure love. Create something that you really would love to experience. Because you're no longer doing it from a place of validation. You're no longer doing it from a place of fear, trying to prove something, trying to get something external. You're just doing it for the pure fun of it. And that is how we expand our wealth. That's how expand we wealth in all areas of our life. You know, for example, with health, we talked about food earlier. You know, exercising for the pure fun of it, getting fit for the pure fun of it, instead of trying to move away from ill health. See the difference? Two very different things. And trying to move away from things painfully that are causing pain, just lead you at some point in time to do cheats, and you just want to do something to feel good. And of course, if you're feeling good because you're constantly moving away from pain, your mind remembers that junk food feels good. So why wouldn't it use it? So I hope this has made sense to you. It's been a bit of a ramble, but that's how I like to do these videos at the moment. It's just saying what comes to mind. But high functioning anxiety is an illusionary way of living that creates illusion of success, etc. And it's fake, and it's damaging, to your mind, it's damaging to your body, and it's damaging to your wealth of all areas, because you can lose it all if you're struggling to think clearly, or if you're struggling with your health. So find out what your driving programs are. Find out what is causing you to chase after this illusion in life that you think will sort everything out for you, that will give you that freedom, and liberate yourself from that. If you need help, come and have a chat. I do take on some one-to-one clients still. I only have a small number of spaces, as it does get quite busy, but it would be good to hear from you if this is something that you are struggling with. And again, think about your conscious mind and your subconscious mind as the ego. Yeah, they're in conflict, often with each other. And it's time to end that battle. It's time to be free of that and come back to the truth of who you are. Which sounds a bit woo-woo for some people, and I get that, but I promise you, and I've seen the hardest, skeptical of clients begin to access who they really are, and then they suddenly feel the change of, do you know what? I can create what I really want in life from a place of pure potential and possibility, which is very different to creating life from a place of pain. So, if this made sense to you, if you have any questions, put everything down within the comments. It'd be really good to hear from you. Let's have some engagement. If you're skeptical, again, I'd love to hear from you. Someone mentioned earlier on the previous video, they weren't happy with something I said and they turned the video off. And now I welcome that, because I welcome skepticism. I welcome your points. I want to know what you think. Put everything down below and subscribe so you get to see what other videos that I create. And I look forward to hearing from you. Have an incredible, peaceful and present day.